Hi guys, have a great day and welcome to our YouTube channel Excel Wonderbox. If you would like to watch animation film review in English, you have come to the right place. So today we have brought Everyone Hero animation films which was released in 2006. This movie has got a good IMDb value of 5.7. So I invite you for come and enjoy the story with the world of family. Briefly about the story, a world-famous baseball champion loses his favorite bat, but the hero father, who is working in an innocent family in our story, is accused of that, so will hero be able to find this bat again to save his father? So let's go to the full story, know all the details. Also before going to the talk, I remind my friends that if you are a new friends who has not yet subscribed our YouTube channel, please subscribe our channel and continue to stay contacted with us. Also if you think today's story is good, I would like to remind you to like it. So without further ado, let's see today's animation films. Let's get it started. Don't mind friends, as per today's story, we have got the 17th decade in America. So at the beginning of this story, you can see how game of baseball is very popular among the people of America. That's the reason Babe Ruth, the captain of the New York squad baseball team, become the most beloved team of his sport fan because they won the Baseball World Cup for most consecutive time. For that reason, baseball game became more and more popular among people. And this Babe had a special baseball bat. He named it Darling. He used only that bat in every match. That bat is special to him because he made it because of the special achievement he had in his baseball career. That was the day he completed 50 home run in baseball. That's when he made a baseball bat for him. So at the same time, it's shown some boys play in the small playground in the big New York City. This little boy in the young is hero of our story, Yankee. He loved to play baseball, but he can't play it well. All the kids in the team told him that he was a loser. Then the match started. The other members of the team ran around the baseball boundary circle to score. Yankee got the chance to score after a while. All through he is ready to take bat and hit the ball as usual. He doesn't get the chance to hit all the three balls thrown. At the same time, his team members have to accept defeat. In the evening, while the children went to home, Yankee was in a lot of trouble because he was always rejected by his friends, and because of himself he lost today's game. So this time he felt sad and angry. So he hits a glass with a broom laying there. However, the broom fall out of his hand and fall on the windshield of a car. Yankee who went there saw a baseball under the car through a falling glass. Taking it in hand, he muttered to himself that you are weak like me. Then he takes the ball and goes home. At the same time, a news broadcast about Babe Ruth achievements is being shown. The person watching it is called Napoleon Cross. It shows a sport report about the baseball champion I mentioned earlier. No matter how much the New York team loses, Babe Ruth's offensive batting said his team would come away with a win. Cruz is the owner of the Chicago team, who is very jealous of Babe Ruth's achievement. He shouts angrily and tells his team bowler Lefty that Babe's name is being talked about the every newspaper and by every person. Also, Babe's name has become famous even in coins and teacup. And he says at this moment that I have to somehow get the World Cup belonging to Babe's team this time. And he asks Lefty what is the luck that only he has that I don't have. Lefty is actually a cheating bowler of the Chicago team. From that we can think that he is the cunning man, and he says that the only luck he has that you don't have is Darling, his favorite bat. So this time we can say that the name of Babe Ruth luck bat is Darling. This time Cross' plan is to have Lefty steal Babe's bat, Darling, from the sport headquarters in New York. At the same time, Cross says that you will only be allowed back into the team if you bring the Darling back. Cross hopes to win the Baseball World Cup by defeating the New York team in the final Baseball World Cup game in Chicago. After that, Yankee came home, asked mother if father has come home yet. Later, mother said that father has a lot of work, so he will come late at night. After that, the Yankee baseball that came into the rooms was placed on the table, and he thought sadly about what the kids said to him while playing today. So saddened, he teared up a picture of Babe Ruth, Yankee and Dad, thinking that he will not be able to achieve his dream of baseball. At this point, Yankee sees the baseball from the table fall to the ground, and the baseball is about to go out. Now that he has approached the ball, he is holding the ball very curiously. and looking at it. At this point, the baseball said, "Please take your thumb off my eye." Yankees were really scared at this point. This time, Yankee baseball is asking if you can talk. Then Yankee wanted to talk to the baseball. Anyway, the ball said that I want to get rid of this annoying child and go back to the place where I was happy. The ball tried to escape from him, but somehow he catched the ball and showed his mother that it was a talking ball. But Yankee was surprised because he did not see the reaction he expected from his mother. So that means that only he can see all the action of this talking baseball. Then he took the baseball and went to his mother. He asked her how good it would be if her father was at home today. At the time, mother said, "If you can take the dinner to father." So very happy Yankee keep the baseball in a safe place and take the food to his father. Having brought the food, he sees how there is a big baseball stadium in front of him. Yankee look around in surprise and then hear his father talking to him from behind. Yankee, who was very happy to see his father, run and hug him with love. It is now known that Yankee's father worked as a security officer at the New York baseball team headquarters. Later, Yankee said that he got a talking baseball while playing. Hearing that, father laughs a lot, and dad find out that he went to play baseball today. So dad asked, "Did you play well today?" So then Yankee say, "I am so bad at baseball that I don't need play anymore." Then the father takes him to show him something. The Yankees love the New York team's sport equipment room, so he is very happy. His happiness grew even more when he saw darling Babe's lucky bat. At this time, the father says the Babe has made this bat from the wood taken from a tree that is thousands of years old on Mountain Olympus. When the father tells him to come back soon and leaves. However, something different is happening this time. That is, Cruz sent Babe's bat to stolen and left him camp here. He scares the Yankee away. The next day down, get up early in the morning and name the Yankee baseball as Crowley. And he reposts the picture that Tier posted yesterday. When Crowley said, "You haven't given up on baseball yet?" Later, he said that as his father said, we should not let go of anything we love. But Crowley said, baseball is a joke. Father said that I used to play in the Rangers team and he was thrown out of the stadium after being attacked by them because he was an illegal baseball. No one has ever come to see him. Yankee's attention shifted because of a noise from the living room. He looked around the door and saw Mr. Robinson, manager of the New York team, and a police officer. They say the Babe lost his bat during Mr. Sterling's night shift. They also say that the baseball cup final is in Chicago and you will be temporarily fired from your job until we find Babe's bat again. But coming to the living room, Yankee says that it was a security officer who came into the sport room and stolen it. But no one believed what this little boy was saying. Saddened by the loss of his job, father scolded Yankee to go to the room. When he went to the room, he talked to Crowley and told him that a New York security guard has stolen Darling, Babe's favorite bat, and because of that, his father lost his job. However, Crowley says, if a security officer of the Chicago team and stolen the bat, I would have believed it. With this statement, Crowley says he would find out who it was in his collection of baseball players' picture. It was then that the Yankees remembered the form of the false defender who stolen the bat. Crowley and Yank learn more. After stealing Babe's bat, Babe will not be able to compete of the World Cup in Chicago because Babe's lucky bat is missing. Therefore, Yankee and Crowley know that the New York team cannot win the World Cup. So even if Yankee goes to tell his father, Crowley says that with the current situation, father will not believe what you say. Their next plan was to go to the train station and capture the Loftin before he escaped to Chicago. So these two leave without knowing Yankee's parents. After a while, these two arrived at the New York train station. Both of them know from timetable the Chicago train not left yet. These two got on a trolley that was pushing a mountain of bags, and after a while they saw Lefty getting on the train going to Chicago. Somehow he hid his passport from the inspector and got in the train. Now they are looking for Lefty. After a while, these two find Lefty. He under the nearby bat seat and tried to get the box in which the bat was packed. At the same time, as the train started, Yankee pushed forward with the bat. Lefty saw Yankee carrying the bat and had to chase him. The Yankee ran and ran, but came into the train's rear end. There is now here to go now. But Yankee is able to escape when a train coming from another railway come to catch Lefty. But Lefty didn't give up and they jumped on the same train and catch the Yankee. Yankee sprinted forward to escape Lefty and get back on the train to Chicago. Lefty. Yankee who came running on top of the train get trapped at one point. However, Yankee escapes from under his leg and jump into the train before stopping. Lefty stopped and tried to jump to catch Yankees, but he collides with a post tower that came in front of him. Somehow, when he goes a long way, he has to stop because he doesn't have a train ticket. He stops at a nearby rest stop. When he went into a lounge, he opened the packing box and saw the bat screaming. Yankee saw it and asked if you were a talking bat. Yep, you think right. Her same like Crowley. He then introduces Crowley to Darling. Later, Darling introduced herself. I am Babe's bat, Darling. She says very proudly that I am made from an old tree of Mountain Olympus, like I mentioned earlier. She boasts about himself. Father make a Crowley jealous. She then says that she definitely want me for Babe's World Cup win, because she knows very well that Babes cannot play the game well without her. She says that maybe the World Cup can be lost as well, but Crowley says that if we take you back to New York and give you to Mr. Robinson, Yankee can get his father's job. But Darling doesn't like that idea and tell Yankee to leave me alone to find the Babes and go to the Chicago. But she keeps turning into the same place. After that, Darling asks Yankee to promise to take her to Babes somehow. They sleep there at night. At this point, it shows his mother and father, who are sad looking at a letter written by Yankee. At this point, the father says that I was too harsh for him. They try to go to the Chicago to find him. As it is morning, we are shown how the Lefty comes along the railway track in search of Darling because he knows the train officer doesn't approve ticket for a small child. So he is somewhere here. He continued to come into the Yankee shelter. We are coming into the lounge. Just in time, Crowley saw him coming in. So he tells Yankee when Lefty arrives. Yankee takes Crowley and Darling and hides under the chair. It was at this time that Lefty wanted to call Cross because the pawn was nearby. He really wanted to tell Cross that he had Darling because he wants to enter the Chicago baseball team somehow. Cross said that he will only make you a member of the team if you bring the Darling to me, and he hangs up the pawn. Lefty, who went to sit down, sees the Darling's bag. He happily opened it, but the bat was not there. So when he looked behind him, he saw Yankee running along the railway with Darling. Lefty got on a rail cart there and rushed to catch him, but it did not work. Just then, a train arrived, but Lefty was hit by the train. Yankee can escape from Lefty another time. As the night got late, Yankee was in two minds because he was wondering if he would take the bat and go to New York and get his father's job, or take the Darling to Chicago and give her to Babes. Yankee continued talking with them. However, soon a roaring sound was heard, and a dog jumped among them, took Crowley by its mouth, and went through the forest to stop at the place where the three men were resting. Darling and Yankee ran follow the doggy, but these two stopped and hid behind the rock. At this time, Yankee slipped, and they fell into their place. Yankee fearfully asked, "Who are you?" "And that your pet dog took my boat." They replied that we are not robbers, and will introduce them to Yankee, that they are not trains leaving for New York City. So they are preparing to take shelter here tonight, while playing the pet doggy with Crowley. These guys have dinner together. At this time, a guy who has there was turning on the radio. Of course, there is no signal there. With the help of the person named Jack here, it's helped to get signal. However, the program was the fourth game of the Baseball World Cup in Chicago. So Jack, Will, Rocky, Yankee, Crowley and Darling are all hoping to win the fourth World Cup game in Chicago today. Now Babe got the chance to score. Our group has paying more attention now. Babe's usual offensive batting, but he's unable to hit the first ball properly, so he's unable to score from others' balls thrown at him. Darling is very sad about the way he plays. She sadly thinks that he doesn't play well because she didn't get him. Everyone was surprised and sad because Pep never got this kind of lost. The Yankees were very late because he did not go to New York and gave it New York manager Mr. Robinson to get his father's job and could not give it before the Peps went to Chicago. After turning off the radio, the group, including Mr. Will, went to the Yankee and told Yankee that a match is uncertain. Maybe even if Babe doesn't score today, he will score bounce as much tomorrow. And Mr. Will says, Babe is a good player who has won everyone's heart and that he was a poor child who had nothing in his childhood. But he says that he became everyone's hero because of his unique batting skills in baseball. When they heard the sound of the train leaving for New York City, they all started running for it. By this time, the Yankees had abandoned their trip to Chicago. However, as he rushed to the train, he decided to take Darling to Babe anyway. But they could not figure out why the Yankees stopped after Yankee agreed for their journey. Later on, Crowley doesn't like this trip, but Yankee says that he decided to go to Chicago because Babe is everyone's hero, because he doesn't want to see his father lose his job. Again they set off on their journey. As the next day dawned, Yankee was very hungry. He went near the tree to pluck a fruit from a nearby apple tree. Darling and Crowley's fight is not over yet. Crowley tells her she is a fat, ugly bat. At this time, two kids from outside try to take Crowley, but reluctantly. The Yankee tells them that is his baseball, but they don't seem to be giving Crowley back. While they are fighting for the ball, a girl named Marty comes to Yankee's help. They split into two groups and hit each other with apples, and finally Yankees manages to get Crowley. Later, Marty took Yankee home with him. She introduces her mother as a new guest. Later, Marty learned the reason why Yankee came home and traveled alone to Chicago, and because her father is Logie Brewster, a super baseball player. He is in Moledo, and she wants Yankee to meet Babe through him. So she gives Yankee a letter to give to her father. At this time, after finding out where Yankee is now from those two able children I saw earlier, Lefton comes to Marty's house and tells Marty's mother that he is his father. So she says that Yankee's father has come, but when Yankee comes to the door, he finds out that this is evil Lefton. Yankee ran away from Marty's house, and Marty's tried to stop Lefton. At this time, Darling is very scared because Lefton has no plans to leave Darling. While Lefton snatched up Darling, there was a big fight between two of them. Yankee won't take bat to Babe and take his dad's job, give the bat to a boss who need to Lefton and join the baseball team. At this point, Lefton pulled the bat and Martin Apple attack, allow the Yankees to get the bat again. Yankee thanks Marty and leaves Lefton in a hurry as he doesn't have much time to regain his senses. After that, the trip is started to Moledo, where Marty's father is. While crossing railroad tracks, passing small town, hanging in the back of vehicle, children playground, and traveling along the Payne's meadows. Seeing a family happy in house, Yankee remembered his mother and father very much. Meanwhile, Yankee's parents have left the house looking for him, with the sound of downpour. Yankees run to find a place to stay out of the rains. The fight between bat and ball is still not over. The saddened Yankees start to cry. In the meantime, Lefton on the other side scolds the boss a lot, knowing that Lefton has lost Darling. He tells him to bring Darling to him before the game's in tomorrow. Also on the other side, Yankee's parents show Marty the Lefton who knows exactly where Yankee went through the police. They also leave the house to find Yankee. With the dawn of the next day, arriving to Moledo, the Yankees sees Marty's father, Mr. Brewster, with his teams, giving commemorative notes to the little friends who loved them. Because they were ready to go to Chicago, Yankee gave him the letter who Marty given and told to Brewster to go with him to Chicago. Here, Yankee knows that without Darling, Babe's team, which is losing consecutively, has only one more chance. Later, Brewster introduced Yankee to his team, and it was a fun trip to Chicago with these guys. Going to Chicago with them was a very fun trip. They taught Yankee how to hit the baseball, and crowd is very happy because Brewster appreciated Yankee. With the dawn of night, the sleeping Yankee and team came to the Chicago and looked at the big and colorful buildings with pleasure. Having arrived at the right place, Brewster and the team say goodbye to Yankee and leave. Yankee, who entered the building, sees the Babe Ruth has come to meet his fans. After a long time without him, the lonely darling was very happy. Also, Yankee is still unaware that the evil Leftin has also come after them. Yankee goes to meet Babe, but the security guard kicks Yankee out, saying that this kind of place is not suitable for dirty boys. Anyway, because he wants to meet Babe, Yankee made a way to sneak under a tray trolley and go near Babe's. Also Babe, who saw the table, showed Yankee to a friend and started laughing. Anyway, the waiters, who jumped from the trolley next to Babe, tried to chase him away, and Babe told him to bring Yankee to him. While they were talking, Leftin came there and he took a bread from the table and put it in Yankee's bag instead of Darling. At this time, Crowley saw this and wanted to find Darling instead of Yankee, so he ran to save her. After talking to Babes, Yankee knew how sad he was without Darling. To surprise him, he searched into the bag to show Darling, but the bread came into his hand. Gods! He could not imagine what happened to him. Seeing this, Babes thinks Yankee is a joker. Crowley, who is on the other side, attacks Loftin and is on the way to save Darling. Yankee sees them in the crowd, but Loftin takes her and runs away before going to get Darling. It was from the cross car. Even if Yankees tried to take Darling for him, it did not work. In the end, the crews would kidnap Yankee as well. Later, as the game started, the boss gave Loftin a chance to compete in the final game as promised. He locked Yankee in a room in the stadium. Cross says this match is the end of Babe Ruth's life. At this time, the players of New York team are leaving the field very unhappily. He left Darling on the side and went downstairs to get his trophy, locking the door of the room. Yankee was very sad because he could not fulfill his responsibility at this time. But Crowley and Darling don't like to accept defeat easily. Crowley came to Yankee when he was sad that he was a small person who could not do anything. It was because of Yankee that I, who was rotting without any purpose, got a chance to go on an epic journey with many experiences that I have never had by adding myself to Yankee's life. Crowley excited Yankee by telling him that Yankee can save his father's job just like he can save his New York team. Darling also thanks Crowley for saving him. The aim of the three are to give in the bat to the babes in the field. This time, Crowley, who accepted the challenge, broke the glass window with his best strength. This time, Yankee came to the stadium's auditorium, hanging like a Tarzan. At this time, Crowley managed to escape from the trouble of the people who came to arrest him. At this moment, the cameras in all directions were directed towards Yankee. And this time, the parents who were looking for him
heard in the car's radio
that a small boy with the bat was causing a disturbance in the baseball field is starting to travel too. At this moment, he ran to find Yankee Babe, who came to the playground. When the security guard catch him, Babe, who has seen Yankee before, goes to him. Yankee's hand Darling to him and says that it was Leftin who stolen Darling. At this time, the spectators in the audience are upset because they have no interest in what is happening on the field. Meanwhile, the umpires tell Babe that even if the last player is not called on the field, the Chicago team will win. At this moment, when Babe's team has given up the games, Darling tells Babe from distance to choose the Yankees as the player. He likes it, even though the rest of the team doesn't like this decision. Babe says that if Yankees has brought his bat this far, it is a small thing for him to play. He tells the umpires that Yankee will be sent out as the next player. For Yankee, this is like a dream. Darling is also happy because Yankee is playing in the World Championship. He thought this was a joke. The manager of the Chicago team walks out laughing loudly. Yankee still says that he can't do this job. After believing that Yankee can do this, Babes hands that bat to Yankee and says that is not the bat, but the belief in himself that will win us. Crowley, who came there at this time, is also very happy to hear this. With the start of the game, baseball fans are a 10-year-old boy. They are surprised to hear that he is playing in the final games. Even his friends are surprised when they hear that it's Yankee Irving. At this time, Yankee's parents and Marty enter the stadium. The left-in delivered the first ball in a very ugly manner, and the Yankee, who was afraid, could not attack. Here, the parents in his stadium called Yankee, and the father warns Yankee to swing and attack. Yankee, who was happy to see his father in the middle of everyone's cheers, prepares to give the last hit. Taking all the funny things to heart, Yankee, who is strong, fulfills everyone's expectations and directs the crowd upward. And Yankee is able to complete the round and score a run despite the lofty obstacles. Crowley and Darling congratulate and the Yankees while all the names are cheering. Yankees then given Darling to Babes. The Yankees are very happy as they run to the field and hug their parents. After the Yankee enthusiasm, the Babes teams scored 7 more runs and did not give a single to the Chicago team. In the end, the Babes team became world champions. Crowley, who had always been an outcast, has now become a popular baseball. Also Yankee, who was rejected by his friends, became a good memorable baseball player. End of this story. So friend, we can take a great moral from this story. Even if people ignore you because you are weak, you know what to do. You have to keep trying and win.